So this is the Big Friendly Swim podcast. I'm the Big Friendly host, and today's guest is now an Olympian from Lebanon. Lynn El Hajj, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, so talk to me about what it means for you to be headed to your first Olympics.
Okay, so it feels really like crazy to be honest because I've always like dreamt about going to the Olympics like from a young age, you know. So, but now the fact that I'm actually going, it's just like a dream come true from a young age, you know. So it's really like inspiring to be honest because it actually shows me like no, like when I put my mind to something, I'm able to accomplish it.
You know, I remember I interviewed Munzi Cabera, um,
Ah,
like about like 8 months ago now. And like he
mm,
was he was equally as excited because he went to the Tokyo Olympics, and he was equally as excited at the fact that like he got to go and represent Lebanon, and he's been doing really well too. He's been dropping time all over the place, like resetting Lebanese national records.
yeah, it's really nice. I even traveled with Munzir to the World Championships. Like it was really fun and nice. Yeah.
Speaking of national records, with you being holding three national records for Lebanon, talk about what it means for you to be like now your name is in those history books forever. Like regardless of if somebody breaks those records, you are in the history books as you were a national record holder.
Yeah. It feels to be honest really inspiring. Okay, like not only like to for example the younger generation but also to myself because as I said like I've always dreamt about being a national record holder and getting to the spot where I am now. So looking back, it's really like inspiring about the fact that I made it happen. You get what I mean? Of course it was a long process and it was really hard, but the fact that it actually like I was finally able to accomplish it was really nice, especially as well. Like I really wanted to be as if like I really want to inspire the younger generation because now there's so many younger uh, like kids that are joining swimming so much more, and there's a really high level in Lebanon. So I really like just want to be really inspiring to those younger generation. Yeah.
I think like on a times level too, 109 in the 100 breaststroke is an elite time. Like that, your other,
Thank
but like 109 was the one that stuck out to me the most. Of like, if you can go under 110, that puts you in a conversation to make like semifinals at an international meet. Like that is,
yeah.
I think 109 made semifinals at U.S. Olympic trials too.
Yeah. Yeah, when I did it, it was really like such a surreal feeling because, like, of course, like, as I said, I've always dreamt about it and it's always been a dream of mine. But the fact that I actually was able to accomplish it, it was and with my coach, especially with my coach is Francois Ratas, he's helped me so much throughout the pool, in and out of the pool, pushing me to my limits and just to be able to reach where I am now, to be honest.
It's one of those things too where I think once you break that barrier, like
Yeah.
it's like going under a minute in the 100 freestyle, or going under, or there's I'm blanking on his name, but the other guy who's qualified with you now.
Oh, Simone Dwayhe, yeah.
Yeah,
He's my team.
I remember I was reading like while I was researching for the interview that he'd swam the 100 freestyle like 20 times over the course of the year, and went like 50.1 to 50.2 over and over again, and then went
Oh, yeah.
49.6.
Yeah, like he kept on because we always traveled together to be able to compete outside at the international meets. So every time we would fail, and every time we would do 50.3, 50.4, 50.5, every single time, every single competition. And we'd always be always like super like nervous and we want him to do better because like I've seen the way how hard he's been training. So finally, when he did it, like it was such a like a weight lifted all of our shoulders, like not only him, but like me and my coach and my teammates. Like we're all waiting for him to do it.
It's it reminds me of like when I was in high school. I had a teammate who would swim the 50 freestyle. Like that was his main event. And in the U.S. we swim in yards, which is really
Yeah.
stupid. Like yards are so dumb. But we swim in a 25-yard pool, and he was going 22-0, 22, 22, 22 over and over again, which equates roughly to like 25 in a 50-meter
Oh,
pool, something like
yeah.
that. Um, and one day he was not rested. He was not in a tech suit. He was wearing like just a brief, and he went 21.5. And like that opened the floodgates of now he's been like 19.3, which equates to he swam at Olympic trials and he went 22.3 in the 50-meter freestyle. So
Yeah,
it opens the floodgates. I feel like of once you get over that mental barrier, or not even a mental
exactly.
barrier, but just like get over that barrier, that you can start going way faster, more consistently.
And the thing is, it happens when you least expect it. Like, like for example, like me in the summer of the when was it? Yeah, of last year, 2023, in the World Championships. Like I was stapling and everything, and we went to the World Championships. I did 111. Okay, it was really good, because my time at the time was like 113, so I did 111. Okay, really well. But then when I came back, we had our nationals year. I wasn't training. I was like, it was like break. I came back to training for like 2, 4 days. I went and I just did 110.3. So I was just like, what? Like you're all like, what just happened? You get what I mean? So it was like when you least expect it, that's when it happens.
You
Yeah.
know, and like at like U.S. trials too, there's a metric that gets brought up every 4 years when the event happens of like I think it's like 20% of people go best times, or like 30% of people go best. Like it's a relatively low number for the 1,000 athletes that compete at that meet every time, and oftentimes people will go faster when the meet is done. It's
Yeah.
like I don't know if you ever heard the term like a happy swimmer is a fast swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, of like sometimes you'll surprise yourself if you're like swimming at a low pressure meet and you're like just having fun. You can surprise yourself with what you can do.
Yeah, it's very true because when it's a low pressure meet, when you're going, for example, to something where you're not expecting as much and you're just going to have fun, like it's genuinely when you do your best. Because when you're expecting so much from yourself and when all of that expectation is gonna eventually take control of you and you're not gonna be able to push as much or like to put as much effort as like you expected to do.
There's a guy by the name of Carson Foster who he was third at Olympic trials in 2021 and he missed the team. And the
Mm.
night before the Olympic final in the 400 IM, he went a time that would have won the gold medal. Like it would have won the gold medal by like a second and a half.
Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
I mean, now he's made the Olympic team, and he's a favorite to win a medal. But it's a testament to like it is like sometimes you will just go faster if you're swimming without that pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course like there's no way to know like if he had been in Tokyo, if he had been in that Olympic final, if he'd been able to put up the same time.
Exactly. Maybe when maybe if he was then he'd be like having way more stress and expectation, or
Yeah,
maybe like, he would have breaking the world record. Like like we never
yeah.
know.
So now that you've represented Lebanon at the World Championships last year, how do you think that set you up and gave you the confidence that you needed to say, "Hey, I can qualify for the Olympics this summer"?
Yeah, to be honest, like it was a process. Like it's not like just like one day I woke up and it was like okay, like I can do it. You get what I mean? Like, especially me, like I struggled a little with like kind of like believing in myself. And when we were competing in outside competitions, like I would train, but then when I'd go, I'd get scared or like the fear of like the expectations and all of that. So this is why like eventually when we started competing a lot in the international meets and we started like to travel, for example, to multiple countries, it I just eventually like got into the mindset of I'm just going to do my best in everything I got. And it's the same thing that when I'm going to the Olympics, I'm just gonna put in my head that it's like I'm going to do my best. I'm gonna like leave everything in the pool and just I'm gonna go out like exhausted, like I'm not gonna be able to walk anymore. But like that's the mindset that I get into like when I'm racing, to not like, because there's so many expectations. Like in reality there's so much expectation and there's so much stress on yourself, but eventually like we have to realize that in the end of the day, like we're not going to be doing the sport forever. You get what I mean? So this is why it's very important just to get into every race knowing you're going to go do your best. And this is how basically I just mentally prepared myself for it.
You know, a few weeks ago I watched that movie about Yusra Mardini. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
have.
love that movie so much.
It's so
Um,
nice.
I cried at least like 5 times
Yeah.
because my parents are from Palestine, so a lot of the stuff that she went through
Yeah.
echoed like stuff that my parents went through. Because they grew up in Lebanon, they grew up in like camps, and then immigrated to the U.S. But obviously, completely different set of circumstances for her.
Yeah.
but I think it was a similar case of all of those expectations and all of those things that were placed on her. If anything, her being like sort of having handled all of that, I don't know what the line I'm trying to make here. Oh my god. I don't know what the point I'm trying to make here is. I think the point I'm trying to make here is that, like, when can go to the Olympics and you can swim and you can have fun with it and you can go in with that mindset of, like, I'm here and I'm just going to enjoy it because I don't know how many times I'm going to get to be here. You can do great things.
Exactly.
Sorry, that was a huge, long tangent. Oh my god. I started the sentence and I knew where I was going and then I lost track of where I was going.
But yeah, even my mom, by the way, is from Palestine, but then she came and she lived here, like with the family and everything. She studied here, like from university because like of the situation in Palestine. But yeah, like you said, like to be honest, like Yusra, for example, like what pushed her was her determination. Like she knew what she wanted to reach in the end of the day, and she knew what her goal was, and she didn't let any obstacle stand in between her and reaching the Olympics.
I liked there's a note at the end of the movie that I like. This is unrelated, but I liked that she chose to represent the refugee team in 2021. I thought that was a nice, because in the movie they portrayed it as she didn't want to at first,
Yeah,
and I like that she did in 2021 because I feel like it gave a lot of inspiration to other refugees and to just Arab people in general.
exactly. Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah,
nice being able to see somebody. I mean, different Middle Eastern country, but they're all like the same text, just in different fonts. If that makes sense.
yeah, it is, it's true. But yeah, like you said, like it's really nice because like for example, younger people, like even like I was watching the movie with like my little sister, like when she saw, for example, like Yusra, how determined she was, it inspires the younger generation. You get what I mean? And it shows them that you shouldn't let, like, if Yusra was able to go through all of that and actually finally end up in the Olympics, then like genuinely anyone is gonna be able to do it if
Yeah,
they put their mind to them to set their goals.
yeah. So talk to me about the qualification process for Lebanon. Like, when did you know you were headed to Paris, and then when were the qualification procedures? Like, what you needed to do? When was that laid out to you?
Okay, so basically in Lebanon, we don't have World Aquatics approved events. So this is why, so like for example, throughout the year, we travel, like this year, if I'm not mistaken, I traveled to Greece and Germany and Hungary to be able to try to get the highest World Aquatics approved event. So because for the Olympics, they take the overall male and the overall female. So me and my teammate who were both going to the world champion to the Olympics, sorry, we both have to try and travel to multiple FINA approved World Aquatics approved events to try to get the highest points to be able to go to the Olympics. And I found out like June 23 was the last day I think that people could compete in,
Yeah.
and then like 11:59 was just like that's when we knew me and my friend were going.
So you guys found out like like at the 11th hour, at the very last
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's not like we do a time and then like we qualify. No, like outside, that's what they have to do. Like they have to reach an Olympic qualification,
Yeah.
an Olympic qualifying time. But us, it's just like we have to wait till everyone finishes competing, and then yeah,
It's like a waiting game.
it's super stressful. Yeah,
I mean, I remember like seeing like, because I follow like that Arab swim account.
yeah,
I remember seeing them. That was what made me want to reach out to you, because I'm like, well, first of all, I love highlighting people that like I don't want to just interview like Michael Phelps or like all the biggest names in swimming. So I love highlighting people who like who
yeah.
relatively no one has heard of. Like obviously, like your people know you, but relatively like
Yeah, I'm in Lebanon. Like no, like
yeah,
some people outside don't know what Lebanon is.
yeah. So I love highlighting stories like that. So that seeing that post was what made me want to reach out to you. I mean, I think we already followed each other too, so that made it easier.
Yeah.
So what was your first experience, whether it be competing at like a world championships or like any sort of like World Cup or international meet like that? What was your first experience competing on the international stage on that level? And then what was your first experience competing at the international? Like when was your first experience going out of the country just to go to a swim meet?
Okay, so me first, I started swimming at the age of 3 with like because I have an older sister, so she started with a coach, and then when I became at the age of 3, I started swimming as well, and so then at the age of 5, I joined my school swim team basically. So then I would train then, and then we'd always have, for example, like travels throughout the year with the school to like go outside and represent. For example, in if I'm not mistaken, we went to I'm not sure, but I think um, Qatar or like different areas, different Arab countries, to be honest. And then we'd go there to represent our school. And then at the age of 5, I think that's what I mostly remember. We went to France to compete in a competition. I didn't really win that much because I was still really young. But then at the age of 9, and that's the photo I have posted. At the age of 9 is when we went to the same competition in Paris, and then that's when I came back, and I really won. When I came back, I joined my current team that I'm in, which is Jazeera, and so yeah. So to be honest, but I don't really remember like much about then. But I remember that of course there was many people, and we were competing in like age group. It wasn't like an open meet, all ages, but it was really like such a different and like nice experience, because like you're seeing one different countries, you're seeing different people and different schools at the time. Now, for example, when we travel, I try my best, for example, to exchange caps with certain countries, to just like it's a fun experience. Like I said, like I'm not going to be doing this like for the rest of my life, so it's really important like to have certain memories of every country, and just like that. And now, for example, in the World Championships, like it was the first like big meet. Like I've been to the World Cup in Germany, but like the World Championships was like the biggest one that I went to, and it was like super like weird to see, like, for example, all of the different world champions and Olympians like all gathered in one, and actually like, made me realize that like they're actually like just like human beings, like just like me. You get what I mean? Because some, for example, world record holders didn't perform as well as they thought that they thought they would. So it's just like made me realize that, oh, like they're just people like me. Like they're not perfect, and they're not like always gonna do well, you know. So yeah.
I think that's a something that I think inspires a lot of young swimmers, like seeing people like a Michael Phelps or like who's a really Katinka Hosu, like all
Yeah,
of these big name swimmers, like that they have just as like off meets as the rest of us. Like it isn't just
exactly.
a consistent level of success for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing, because that actually like made me realize, like, oh, like if I don't do well in the competition, like it's not the end of the world. Like I remember when we were there, we were with Munzer and my teammate Simo, and another one of our like swimmers, Marie Khoury. We were all there standing, and then there was Popovici, who just finished his event, and he didn't do well. Like in Fukuoka, he didn't really do well. So then we were standing, and then we told him that like it's okay. He's like, yeah, like I'm human, you know. So that actually like made me realize that, yeah, like in the end of the day, like it's not the end of the world. We're all like still learning and evolving. We'll just like come back to training, understand where we went wrong, and just move on.
And I mean, he's now like set himself
He's
up
so
very
nice.
well for Paris. Like I feel like people for a little bit were like, "Oh, he's done." Like he was a
Like
one
he's
hit wonder. Like that was it. And then he goes
yeah.
46.8 and 143.1 in the 200 freestyle, and he's
Oh
like,
my god.
"All right, guys, I'm back."
Yeah. Oh
It's I really want to see him take down the 200 freestyle world record. He's still about a second off of it. But
yeah.
the fact that like no one has been 142 besides him in like 15 years, I'm like, please, someone.
Crazy.
So my last question for you, and this like is more of a like a structured one. Walk me through like what a typical week of training looks like for you, and like some of your favorite sets, and then what is the pool and facility like that you train at?
Okay. So first, me, I like just recently just finished school. So, but like during school, basically, what I would do, for example, for around like 3 times a week, I would wake up at 5, get ready, and go to gym at around like 5:50, and then I'd spend like I'd do gym until with like my trainer, obviously, and then I'd finish at around like 7:30, 7:20. I'd change, get ready in the gym, and then go and in the car like eat like my protein yogurt and the granola. I'd go to school, like finish school and everything. I'd come back home, I'd eat, and then I'd go to training. I'd finish training, and then I'd come back home and I'd study. And then like this is like on repeat for like the whole school year. So yeah, but now obviously in summer it's gonna be different because like we'd add more training sessions, like swimming training sessions. And yeah, but then and to be honest, the facilities in Lebanon aren't like as good because they like swimming, as we said, that swimming isn't really a talked sport in Lebanon. It's not really a main sport that people really look at and are excited for and everything. So this is why, for example, like us, we train in a pool like during winter in a 25-meter pool, and during summer in a 50-meter pool. We have 3 lanes only for the whole team. In winter, 3 lanes, and in summer, 3 lanes. And like sometimes, for example, because the pool isn't catered for swimmers, basically it's catered more for like the people who want to come to the beach, swim like in the winter. So the pool is mainly it's not all the time like cold, which is better. Like we would rather be swimming in the cold water than a hot water, because the hot water would be harder for us to swim in. It would
Yeah.
be harder on our muscles. So this is why when we trained in a when we trained, for example, in winter, they wouldn't be able to make the pool colder for us, because the higher majority are the people that would want to come to like the club and like just swim for fun. You get what I mean? So this is why. And like, for example, we don't have like dives, like dive boards. So this is why we had to like place them, and like our club had to supply it for us. So that we had have to train, because like, for example, and even like when we travel throughout the year, because only in summer we move into a 50-meter pool. We train like all year round in a 25-meter pool, and then travel outside to compete in a 50-meter pool, like 50-meter competition. So this was like really hard for us, to be honest. But like, to be honest, we adapted to it. Like we have no other choice, and we just actually use this like as actual motivation to push us even more, because these are the facilities that were provided, and these are the facilities that we have. So we just use it to our advantage, just push push as much as we can to be able to get to where we are. What was the last question?
The last question was more just like some of your favorite sets that you've been able to do.
Yeah, to be honest, I love sprint sets more than long distance sets. I love sprints more. Like, for example, my favorite set, we have this set which is like 8 times 50 on like around like 8 minutes or 6 minutes. So what I like about it the most is that it's like as if you're doing like a race 8 times. You get to, I mean, like 8 times 50 in a race, because it allows me, for example, I swim the first 50, okay, and I try my best to do it again, but like to do better. You get what I mean? So the whole like waiting process and resting and recovery process of like the 8 minutes allows me to just reset my brain, and as if I'm doing it all over again and better. So this is why it kind of like prepares me for the race, and prepares me for like, because I'm more of a sprinter. You get what I mean? I swim as well the 200 breaststroke, but I would rather the 50 and 100. So this is why it allows me to put myself as if in the zone of the race.
I think like a lot of people are kind of like closed-minded in terms of like, oh, like I've got my pool and I've got my like big facility. Like they assume that the only way to success is to have that like 50-meter pool and have like a huge facility with multiple pools and all this. And it's like a testament, I think, to athletes from not just Lebanon but any country that's not a huge swimming country, when they can have that level of success. Like, I mean, like I talked to some athletes from like South Africa, and they have 50-meter pools, but half
Yeah.
the time they're not heated, or they're like excessively like dirty. Like the walls of the pool are like there's stuff that they deal with too. But I love hearing about those stories of people who don't have the typical like bells and whistles that like a Division 1 college team in the U.S. would have.
We don't even have like the flags for those like my teammates who swim backstroke. So like even as you said, like sometimes we even have problems with the chlorine in the water. Like indoors it would be like too much chlorine. So like we'd spend like for example the week like coughing because of the chlorine, you get what I mean? So like it's
Yeah.
like facilities are really bad. But like I said, like it just like pushes us even more because we have our goals set and like we're just gonna fight no matter what to be able to reach them.
I think like situations like that, like with the right people, can ignite that passion of like I at least have some water to swim in, and that means that I can still go after my goals.
Exactly, yeah. And as well like all of our teammates like as it like they say that like swimming for example is an individual sport, but it's really not. Like our teammates are like push us. Like there's sometimes where obviously like because like swimming is boring if you think about it, you get what I mean, just going down.
Yeah.
Okay, but the fact when you have your teammates and when you have everyone next to you, like helping you and pushing you, like we're all doing this together. So, so this as well like pushes you so much more to be able to reach it. Like for example, if the pool is gonna be hot, okay, like we're all facing through it together. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Just gonna be pushing, and we're gonna push each other to be able to improve.
You know, the way I've always put it when people ask me like if swimming is an individual sport is I'll say it's individual in terms of like the goals that you have are accomplished by your level of work. Like if you work hard, like you'll see the results of it. But it's not individual in terms of you've got that team around you and you've got those people around you that are working towards like-minded goals. Like that part of it is not individual.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because it's because as well, like having teammates, like for example, me and my teammate, like Simone Dwaihi, who are both going to the Olympics, like both of us having the same goal of we're trying to our best to fight no matter what to be able to reach that goal, and actually accomplishing it together was like so like it was like so surreal because it's like actually like we fought for it and we like no matter what we've had to go through, we actually ended up doing it. Is super like it's motivating, you get what I mean? And as well it as well motivates like the little like the younger kids in our team because it shows them that like we're in the same space training as well and we're struggling through the same problems, but we're still fighting to be able to get to it.
Yeah. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for sitting down with me. That was everything I have for you.
Thank you so
Um,
much for having me.
Thank you so much for. I hope it wasn't. I hope it like you got less nervous as time went on. Like I hope it was fun for you.
No, it's actually really fun. Like I told you when I started talking, like it was fine, you get what I mean?